Okay. I didn't realise I was actually live. Okay, what I'm going to do now, after waffling for 45 minutes, is actually talk about food banks. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that food banks are only used by the poor and homeless. Basically, that is totally and utterly untrue. Food banks are now being used by a lot of people. Basically, let's take this example. Dad comes home from work tonight, goes to the doormat, picks up the mail, the post. The kids have run up a £500 phone bill, house phone. Not talking about the mobiles, we're talking about their normal house phone. They've been ringing their mates in Calcutta, and Dad's now left. Dad's now left with a 500 phone bill. So Dad has to say, "Okay, got two choices here. I either pay the phone bill, in which case we don't eat for the month, or I pay the phone bill, then I contact the local food bank to see if I can get help with food." And the food bank says, "Right, we understand your situation. On this occasion, we'll give you a food parcel, which will last normally, but the food will only last 3 days." However, most food banks, when they give a food parcel, what their idea of 3 days food to me is 3 months food. It's absolutely crazy. I've seen food banks in Germany, I've seen food banks in America, and I've seen food banks in England, and they give a lot more food than I could possibly eat, or a family of 4 could eat in 3 days. Hold on, just send the quick text. Yeah, they give a lot more food than what you need for 3 days. Another example, Dad comes home tonight, picks up the mobile phone bill. The kids have run up £100 mobile phone bill. Again, he's got to do exactly the same. He's got to choose whether he pays the £100 mobile phone bill, disconnects the phone, and buys food instead, so the phone gets disconnected, in which case the phone company then take it to a debt recovery agency, and he ends up with a CCJ because of non-payment of his mobile phone bill, because the mobile phone companies and the utility companies now are very, very fast to pass debts onto debt recovery agencies. It is ridiculous. Don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but in England, it's got crazy. If your phone bill is due today and you don't pay it, Saturday morning, you'll have a letter from a debt recovery agency saying, if you don't pay within the next 14 days, we will come kick your door in and we will take everything from your house, which is basically a scare tactic. They can't do it. But that's for another video. That's not about today. Today is about food banks. Right. Now I've cleared up who uses food banks. Let me explain what food bank need and what you can actually donate to food banks. First of all, let's start with food. You've got your tin food, your vegetables, peas, carrots, potato, kidney beans, chickpeas, chopped tomatoes, plum tomatoes, your spaghetti, your baked beans, and then you've got your tin meats like your spam, ham, your curries, your chilies, your stew, your stock pot, whatever they call it, hot pots. Then you've got your meats, your ravioli, like spaghetti bolognese in a tin. This is in the UK. I'm not saying it'll be the same for every country in the world, because a lot of countries in the world don't tin as much food as the UK does. The reason that the UK tins so much food was because we almost lost the Second World War, because we almost starved to death, because German U-boats were sinking all our food convoys that were coming from other countries. So after the war, they said, right, we can't have this ever happen again. What can we do about it? They said, well, how about if we process food and stick it in tins? So basically, anything that comes in a tin can be donated to a food bank. But if it's a food bank that actually gives food out daily, and the people that actually need the food, then you can donate things like bread, long life milk, eggs, sugar, coffee, tea, Marmite, Bourneville, Ovaltine, things like chocolate bars, candy bars, crisps. But the most important thing is bread, eggs, milk, because a lot of people are under the impression that bread, eggs, and long life milk have to go in the fridge. Wrong. Eggs do not go in the fridge. Bread does not go in the fridge because it'll make it stale. Long life milk should go in the fridge once opened, but doesn't have to. I had a mate in Germany that used to leave his long life milk out all day. I says, you're an idiot, mate. I says, you can't let your kids drink that. I said, because it'll kill them. He says, no, it's fine. I said, and then I looked. He says, yeah, it's long life milk. It's pasteurized. It's UHT, whatever they call it. And it was fine. I went to his house at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we come back about 8 o'clock at night. And I said, is that milk been out all day? Like, he says, yeah. I says, hold on a minute. And I poured a bit into a cup, tasted it, and ooh, that is okay. You're right. And that was it. So then again, and then you got things like vegetables, your potatoes, your peppers, onions, carrots, your root vegetables like, too many to name, pumpkin, aubergines, courgettes. Aubergine is eggplant to you foreigners, and I'm not being racist either. If you're from another country, you're a foreigner. That's not being racist. And some English will say, "Hey, Ray, you're being racist." Well, what else are you supposed to call somebody from another country? Alien? Right. And then what people forget about food banks is they hear the word food, so they think only food. But people also need other things, like for infants, milk formula, nappies, clothes, cots, blankets, drinking bottles, feeding bottles, whatever you want to call them. And then you've got clothes for adults, for children, for teens, men, women. Yeah. Because people that use food banks aren't those that are poor. They're people that are in need. Like someone could have had a house fire and the house is burnt down. They've lost everything. However, they've been rehoused in another house. So they need bedding, clothes, beds, wardrobes, chest of drawers, kitchen units, sofas, chairs. You're thinking, but these are large items. No, when you donate this sort of thing, it's like me tomorrow saying, I don't like my dining table and chairs anymore. I'm going to buy a new one. Then rather than sending the old one to the dump, donate it to somebody who has nothing or has lost everything that needs to rebuild it. They'll be very thankful of it. You know, like a lot of charities in England now, they do. Actually, here we go. Right, I'm talking about donating and giving it to a food bank for it to be given to people for free. However, we've got charity stores in England that actually resell it. People like old age pensioners, they die, the people clear the house out. So the sons, daughters, grandchildren, they donate it to the local charity. Everything in my house came from a charity shop. Got a 3-piece suite, which was when I got it was like brand new and absolutely awesome. It's the best sofa I've ever seen. I got my dining table and chairs from the charity shop. I got my wall units from the charity shop. I got my single bed from a charity shop. No, actually, tell a lie. The single bed was actually donated by someone. I got a double mattress that was actually donated by someone. I got my kitchen dining table and chairs donated by my neighbour. She was walking past one day. She was sat out in a yard like, and she said, "Hey Ray, I'm doing my kitchen up. Do you want my wall units and do you want my kitchen dining table and chairs?" I says, "Well, actually, I was thinking of buying a new dining table and chairs. Don't give it to me. Let me give you a little bit of money for it." She said, "No, we don't want money for it. If you want it, we'll just take it." And I did. 4 chairs and a dining table. And this was about 2 or 3 years ago. And before she gave me the chairs, she washed the cushions. It's now 3 years later, and the cushions still smell of the softener detergent she used. It's unbelievable. Every time I see her now, I say to her, I still don't know what you used to wash the cushions on the dining chairs, but I can still smell it. And this is, I think she said to me the other day, it was 3 years ago that she did her kitchen up because she got a dog at the same time, got a puppy at the same time. And she says to me the other day, Isis is 3 years old now. Like, what? I said, nah, she's not. And she is. Right, so let's say other things you can donate. What we got? Eggs, bread, long life milk, sugar, coffee, tea. Basically anything that doesn't go in the fridge. So not fresh products and not anything that needs to go in the fridge. Things that can go into a cool, dry room. Rice, pasta, spaghetti, tea, coffee, milk, sugar, eggs, bread. Like I said, your tin vegetables, tin meats, tin pies. I see there's a lot of ramen noodles now that can be used. Not in England, but in other countries, because they've got meat in them. They won't be allowed to sell in this country. However, I was in one of my local stores the other day, and they had meals on the shelf. I turned around to the shop assistant and I said, "What's this? This should be in the fridge." She says, "No, it's a new product. They're now making food like a chicken curry, and it goes on the shelf rather than in the fridge." No, thanks. Anyway, I bought one and I didn't die from it, but I didn't buy it again. It wasn't that good. But somebody who is in need will be happy for that. What else? Like going back to people that have lost everything through fire. They may have broken up with a partner and found themselves homeless, and then managed to get a new place to live, but they've got nothing for it. So you can donate your old kettle, toaster, electric frying pan, maybe your microwave oven, your these new no oil fancy grill things that they keep bringing a new model out every week. So people say, "Oh, I don't want that." Like with mobile phones, people say, "Well, it's out of date now, so I'm going to buy the new one." A prime example is iPhone. Well, they've just brought out the iPhone X or whatever they call it. So everybody who's got the iPhone 1 to 8 or 10, whatever it is, have still got their old ones. So they've got two choices: sell it on or give it away. What else should we talking about? Beds, blankets, duvets, duvet covers, pillowcases, fitted sheets, mattresses, bed frames, wardrobes, chest of drawers. A lot of this you wouldn't really give to a food bank, but if the food bank is connected to like a charity or something, then they may also have a storage facility. Like we've got 3 or 4 in my local town that have got. They do the food bank, and then down the road they actually do furniture, things like televisions, mobile phones, and thing. Problem with giving the electricals is it has to first of all go through an electrical test by a qualified electrician. So a lot of charities won't take it. I'm sort of mixing it now, charities and food banks. But what I'm trying to say is food banks don't just need food, clothes, uh, baby food, stuff for babies, nappies, diapers. Most importantly, what actually I've just forgot is things like shaving foam, razors, shampoo, conditioner, brush, comb, scissors. What else have we got? Basically, as I say, anything can be given to the food bank as long as it's not fresh food. Because when it becomes fresh food, when I say fresh food, I'm talking about things like meat, cheese, bacon, all that sort of thing. You wouldn't really give to a food bank. I've been offered it by one of my local supermarkets, but before she offered me it, because I was going to start my own food bank, she said, we've got fresh and frozen products that we want to give away. Can you take it? I said, at this moment, I can't take it because my freezer's full, which was a shame. Because I could have got a lot of food that could have helped a lot of people. But when you get to that, you've got to make sure that the food bank gives the food to people that have got fridges, freezers. Or they're going to use it that day. If they're going to cook it and use it that day, then it's fine. Because you can leave food out for a couple of hours as long as it's cooked and at about 70 to 80 degrees. It'll be fine. What else? I'm trying to think what I've seen food banks give in America and Germany. I've only ever seen a food parcel once in this country, and that had things like, I was quite surprised actually. It had coffee, sugar, long life milk, crisps, noodles. I think there was biscuits thrown in. Christmas. Christmas. After Christmas, a couple of years ago, when I was starting my food bank, somebody donated a box of food and they gave a massive Christmas cake, mince pies, Christmas pudding, custard, fruit in a tin fruit, mixed fruit, jello, Oh, yeah. Things like mustard, mint sauce, horseradish sauce. I'm trying to think what else. I'm trying to think what I've seen in food parcels. Um, pasta, pasta meal where you just add hot water. It doesn't need to go in the microwave. You just add hot water, give it 2 minutes, and then it's done. Um, oh, talking of food and noodles, I'll give you some cook. I'll do another video tomorrow, and I'll give you cooking tips on noodles. How you can. I'll tell you tomorrow how you can take one packet of noodles and feed 4 people with a 84 gram packet of noodles. People look at me and go, Ray, you're crazy. And I say, no, I'm a City and Guild qualified chef with over 20 years experience in the hospitality industry. Where the company say, right, we'll give you 25 pence a day to feed 400 staff. That's 25 pence each. And you got 25 pence. You've got to feed 400 staff 3 meals a day. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 25 pence. You've got to come up with some good food ideas because 25 pence for 3 meals is less than 10 pence a meal. And that's not easy. What else can you give food banks? Bottled water, I suppose. Um, I'm trying to keep it to basic items, not luxury items. Like I've seen food banks around the world give biscuits, crisps, as I say, Christmas cakes, soda. But it depends, I'm not saying to you give a bottle of soda. I'm saying if you want to give to a food bank, go in your cupboards, make sure the food is still in date because there's usually a date on the bottom of the tin or the top of the tin, and give it to your food bank. I'm not saying go out and buy a 40 packet box of crisps at £4, $6. I'm saying go in your local supermarket, pay 20 cents, and get a tin of thing. Like for $1, I can get a tin of potatoes, a tin of peas, a tin of carrots, chopped tomatoes. Sorry about that. And that one alone will feed a family of 4 one meal a day. Because in England we don't eat 3 cooked meals a day. We'll have maybe toast or cereal for breakfast. We'll have soup or a sandwich for lunch, and then we'll have a hot meal in the evening when the husband and wife are home from work and the kids are home from school. That way, people know that the kids have had one hot meal a day if they haven't had their school lunches. And if mum and dad haven't eaten in the staff canteen. So let's refresh. Most important, coffee, tea, long life milk, UHT milk, whatever they call it in your country, sugar, even plastic cups, disposable cups, to-go containers, which you can buy like 10 in a packet for maybe $1. So people can cook food and then they can do what I do. If you look at my links and look at my blog, you'll see that I cook a meal and then I divide it into 10 portions, well, 11 portions, 10 to go in the freezer, 1 to eat at the time of cooking. And then when I haven't got money for food, rather than begging a food bank for food or supermarkets for food, I can go in my freezer and buy food. Yeah, I buy it from my freezer basically, rather than the store. A lot of meats you can get in tins now. Ravioli, hot dogs, curries, stews, chickpeas, Bombay potatoes, dal, aloo, I can't remember the name, but you know what I mean. A lot of the Indian food now comes in tins or ready off the shelf, very much like the ramen in Asia, where you just go in, 7-Eleven, other stores are available, pick it off the shelf, take it home, stick water in it, stick it in your microwave for 30 seconds. But then again, a lot of people in need won't have a microwave. So that you got to think, well, if I use noodles, all I've got to do is add hot water. And all I've got to do that to get the hot water is get an old vegetable tin that they've washed out, put water in that, put that onto a portable fire and heat it up that way. Or another thing you can donate, portable gas cookers. These gas cookers that we use in England when we go camping or caravanning, or people use in Asia. They buy the stove for like $10 and then they'll buy the gas for $1.50. So you can donate the gas and the thing. Like in our country, we buy it in packs of 4 for like $5, $6. The last time I was in the Philippines, I bought one for the people I stayed with because a lot of the tenants didn't have kitchens to cook in and they were using fire outside. So no, this is, this is the modern world. You don't cook on outside on a fire. I said, try using this. So I bought a gas stove. Then I went down the local store and then paid, I think it was 15 pesos, about 20 pence, for a can of gas. Then I left the Philippines and I rang my mates or spoke to my mates on the internet, and they said, "Oh, my mum went down the store today and she's bought a load of portable gas cylinders." Oh no. She says, "Yeah, because you bought the gas stove and everybody's using it, you're probably talking about 100 people all using it." She says, "We're now selling the gas bottles from our, um, what do you call it? Cyber cafe, internet cafe." Because the people I stayed with owned a cyber cafe. So they now started stocking um, gas cylinders, portable gas cylinders. Amazing. I taught them well. When I went to visit them, they had 8 units for their cyber cafe. And after I'd been there for 30 days, while I was there, I actually made their cafe Wi-Fi, and then I taught them how to make it Wi-Fi. But I put a special modem on where people could pay for Wi-Fi without the internet cafe being open. So it then gave them money 24 hours a day. All they did was register for a payment gateway, so they get paid. And now they've got 18 units in the cyber cafe, and God knows how many customers using the cyber cafe. Anyway, this is supposed to be about food banks, not making money. And that actually leads on to another thing: donating the gas cylinders. Only the little portable ones. What else? Obviously, pots and pans. Because if you've got a portable gas stove, you obviously need some sort of utensil. But with the portable gas stove, if you're smart like me and you use your head, once the tin of potatoes is empty, you take the label off, you wash it out, you sit to the side. Then, when you need water, if you haven't got a kettle, you can boil water in that. Obviously, use a cloth to make the coffee. Tins of soup. That's another one. Tins of soup you can use as well. Tins of soup, pasta sauce, your spaghetti. Take a few tins like, but you can even boil spaghetti in a vegetable tin. Obviously, it depends. I'm talking about 400 grams. But then, if you people want to donate a kilo tin or a 5 kilo tin to go to large families, because I know families in Asia, some of them have 10, 14 kids. Now, if you get, I think I saw the other day in our shops, 3 kilo tin of peas. You take the peas out of that, take the label off, fill that with water. You can use that as a cooking pot. That's a very cheap cooking pot, and it's aluminium, so it'll be a good stove. It's like the armed forces when their soldiers are out in the middle of nowhere. They haven't got a kitchen to cook on, so all they've got is a portable cooker the size of a pack of playing cards, what they call it, fuel blocks, which they put under underneath it, and then they stick a mess tin on top of it. A mess tin is basically just like a long rectangular tin without a lid, and that's exactly what your vegetable tins can be. The same. Take the lid off, even cut one in half. No, you couldn't do that because you took the lid off. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, use the 3 kilo tins, and you can cook pasta. You can heat soup in it. You can make a stew in it. You know. But like I say, food banks aren't just used for people in poverty or destitute. They're used for people by people in need. That's people that have got an unexpected bill that they've got to pay that month or that week, so they haven't got money to buy food. 85% of the UK actually live in poverty. There's one food bank in the UK. He started from his garden shed, and the demand for people in the United Kingdom needing food has grown so much due to government cutbacks and fraud, basically. He's now grown to over 1,000 food banks. And as I say, they normally give out food once every 6 months and 3-day food. And obviously, the amount of food you're given depends how many people you're actually feeding. Like, as a single guy, they give me enough for one person basically for 3 days. However, as I say, it usually is a lot more. But then if it's a family of 4, you might be talking 4 or 5 carrier bags full of food. And, you know, it depends where you are in the world, because some of these, well, it goes on 2 things. One is how many people you've got to feed and how much food they've been given, how much food has been donated to them. Actually, 3 things. Size of your family, how much you've been donated, and how often they give the food out. So we're talking, again, recap, tin food, dry goods, anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated or frozen, very few food banks will take fresh food unless they've got a plan of action where they can actually give it out that day, or they've got a freezer to freeze it so they can give it out one day. And one thing about food banks in England that I don't like is they're only open from 12 o'clock lunchtime till 3:30 in the afternoon, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. Like the food banks in Germany, you go every Thursday, 9 o'clock in the morning, you pay 50 cents, half a dollar. You then go back at 3 o'clock and they give out food. And when they give out food in Germany, it doesn't go on the size of the family. What they do is they go into their warehouse and they see how much food is actually being donated. Then they see how many people have claimed food for that day. So if today they had 100 people, they will divide all the food that they've got that day by 100 people. So you might get a lot of food. But next week, you'll go back again on Thursday, and they've had 200 people claim food. So what happens is then you'll get half the food you got today. However, you might get even less than half, because if they haven't been given food, you won't get anything. It all depends on how many people are donating. When I was in America, we were giving out 4 or 5 bags of food on a daily basis. But by the time I left America, we were giving out 1 bag of food a day, because one, we weren't getting the donations, and two, we couldn't keep up with the demand because that many people were asking for food. Now, top tip for you: go in your supermarket first thing in the morning or last thing at night before they close. Like, I ran into my supermarket today because I needed bread and milk. Anyway, got to the bakery part of the store, and I was looking, no bread. Okay, so then I got to the factory prepared stuff. You're not just your normal that comes in every day loaves of bread that aren't baked from their bakery. They're actually coming from other companies. And he had 1 loaf of bread reduced half price. I thought, I'll have that. So I got 4 loaves of bread for the price of 3. Awesome. So that's why the food banks are starting to suffer now, because rather than donating the food to food banks, they're actually selling it at half price. I walked into another one of my local stores last week before. They reduced a £1 loaf of bread for 25 pence, quarter of the price. So I got my shopping basket and I just shoved it off the counter straight to the shopping basket, and I turned around to the cashier and I said, I'll take the lot. And I took the lot. That's the best time to buy food, when it's gonna expire today. However, you buy it today, but you're not gonna eat it all today. But what you can do is stick it in your freezer. But rather than saying, right, I need bread today, so I'll take the loaf out and let it defrost, then make the kids the sandwiches, make the husband, the wife, the sandwiches. Rather than doing that, you go in the freezer and you say, right, I need to make our sandwiches for lunch or for dinner, or as we say in England, tea. Basically, We call it tea because basically it's afternoon tea. But we call it tea because the kids get tea, and then later on in the evening, the parents will eat dinner. So about 5 o'clock in the evening, tea, and anything between 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock in the evening is afternoon tea, basically. So it's tea. But when you take the bread out of the freezer, you toast it. So if you're going to make 4 sandwiches, that's 8 slices of bread. That's 3/4 of a loaf of bread. So you toast it because most toasters now toast 4 slices of bread at a time. So you can use it. The most expensive part of the food bill is bread, milk, and eggs, because a loaf of bread will only last a day. Most families will actually use 2 loaves of bread a day. They'll have a couple of slices of bread for breakfast, so that's 8 slices. There's only 12 slices in a loaf of bread. Then in the evening, they'll do the kids a sandwich and themselves sandwiches. So mum and dad will have 2 sandwiches each. The kids will have one each. So that's a loaf of bread. That's a loaf of bread gone for tea. If you've got 2 teenagers instead of 2 kids, then they'll eat the same as mum and dad. So that's 16 slices of bread. So that's 1 1/3 loaves of bread. The only reason I know that is because, as I say, I'm a qualified Sitting Guild chef. And obviously, if I had to make sandwiches for 1,000 people, I had to know exactly how many loaves of bread I needed. Right, I've got 12 slices of bread, that's going to take 100 loaves. You know? My God, I've been yapping for another hour. God, can I talk? Anyway, any questions? Comment below and I'll answer them. If you want to help, either you can donate to me, or the best thing to do is just contact your local food bank. Now, you're going to say, well, where can I find a food bank, or how do I go about setting up a food bank? Well, to find one, normally food banks are associated with your local church. Like in America, most churches are food banks. If you want to start a food bank, then you talk to your neighbors, you talk to your friends, you talk to your local churches, schools, colleges, universities, your local businesses, and say, right, I'm starting the food bank, I'm looking for food. Now, a great way to start it, if you've got kids, is the next time you're at a parents teachers association meeting, is say, right, I've got an idea for a charity event. Now, I'd like to start a food bank, but it's going to take donations. So when we send the next flyer home to the parents, how about we ask each parent or each family to donate 1 tin? We did it. We did it years and years and years ago when we were at school. We all went home because there were so many of our classmates that were living in poverty, because at this time we didn't have the welfare system in place in the UK that we had now. So we said, what about if we all bring a can to school tomorrow? What do you mean? Well, I'll bring a tin of beans. Mark can bring a tin of potatoes. Jill can bring a tin of carrots. And by the time we've got 1,000 students all bringing a tin of food, we can feed maybe 100 families, maybe 200, maybe even more. You know, because it starts off, you bring a can. Then you turn around to your local schools, your colleges, your universities, all to do the same. Bring a can. I actually put an advert out on my local radio station when I was going to start a food bank. And I said, I'm not asking for people to donate a lot of food. All I'm asking for is between 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock today is for people to drop off 1 can of food. That's all. And the best laugh of all was the first person to actually donate food was my father. He was 85 years old and he brought 4 boxes of food. I couldn't believe it. He donated 4 boxes of food. Unfortunately, a lot of it was out of date, so it had to go in the bin, which is a shame. But the thought was there. And then 3 or 4 other people bought Christmas hampers and donated them. So what I started as bring a can ended up to women donate a lorry load, basically. And then if that happens where you end up with a lot of food, then the best thing to do is contact one of your local couriers and say, I've got a load of food that I need delivered to people. Will you donate one of your small vans to run round the local village and give people the food? Like one of my local supermarkets, every Christmas, every Easter, they give a bag of food. And they do about 10, 20 food parcels to those in need. I don't know who gets it. I've never asked that question. But when I first moved into this house, the girls were doing a fundraiser in the shopping mall right outside my house. I went, hold on a minute. I says, I just bought a load of coffee, tea, and sugar. I said, give me 5 minutes. I'll run upstairs and I'll bring some down for you. You can't do that. You need it yourself. I says, no, I don't need it. I says, I'm fine. And I donated a load of coffee. And I'm not talking about your normal instant coffee. I'm talking about your Dolce Gusto coffee machine pods at like $20 a packet. And I donated and about 10, 12 of them. We won't go into how or why I could do that at that time, but I did it. You know, I don't know what to talk about now. But basically, as I said in my previous videos, let's stop all this hatred on the internet now. Let's start teaching our friends, our neighbors, how to live on a budget. Let's start helping each other. Let's start working as teams again. Because too many people now are trying to destroy each other's lives. We're watching major corporations going bankrupt. We're talking not your local shop or business laying off 5 or 6 people. We're talking international corporations laying off 54,000 people. What you've got to remember is, and this is what I try to tell Filipinos, you might do the call centers for England and America at the moment, but while businesses are closing in the UK and people are being driven into poverty and needing to use food banks, they're cancelling their cable, they're cancelling their mobile phones, they're cancelling their satellite TV packages, mobile phone packages, whatever. When these companies lose their customers, they're going to turn around to the Filipino call centers and say, sorry, we don't need you anymore because we've just lost 54,000 customers due to a major corporation shutting down in England. Then that's it. These Filipino call center staff are out of jobs. They're in poverty. But in the Philippines, as far as I know, and I've never seen it yet, you don't have food banks. Oh, they don't have food banks. Sorry, I'm not talking to the Philippines. I'm talking to the international community here. I'm not going to victimize or discriminate any race or nationality. I'm just using that as an example. And this is, I spoke to my Virgin Media call center that's in the Philippines the other day. And I can't remember how we got onto the subject, but I turned around because the lads are really cocky and really abusive, basically. I had a lad actually hang up on me and then call me back and swore at me and put the phone down. Oh, took me 6 months of talking to management to get the problem sorted. I ended up with like 3 months complimentary service because of this one stupid idiot that rang me up and basically tried to abuse me. And best laugh of all, I said to his manager, like, I says, you're picking on the wrong, he was trying to pick on the wrong person. I says, I've got over 30 years hotel restaurant management experience or hospitality experience. I says, I'm also an ex sales and marketing manager. And I said, I've actually ran 2,000 call center staff. And I said, if I'd ever heard one of my staff do that to a customer, his feet would not have touched the floor as I threw him out the building. No, security wouldn't have thrown him out the building. I would have personally thrown him out the building because you do not talk to people like that. See, what these idiots forget is they're ambassadors of their company. This is now why Virgin Media have just had a £500 million fine by our regulators. Anyway, that's not for this video. This video was a food bank. So, like I said, recap. Donate to your local food bank. Knock on your neighbour, knock on your neighbour's doors. See if there's anything they need. Like if you buy a 50-kilo bag of rice, donate a kilo to your food bank. If you buy a 20-kilo bag of potatoes, donate a kilo. if you buy a 20-kilo bag of pasta, donate a couple of kilos. If you buy a 20-kilo bag of sugar, donate a kilo. Salt. Oh, things I forgot. Salt, pepper, curry sauces or curry spices, should I say. Things like chilies, peppers, onions. They can all be donated because these are things that don't need to go in a refrigerator or freezer. And these are, well, not the fresh veg, but the spices and the spices and dried herbs will last for years. And this is why they give tin food, because tin food will last 2 or 3 years. The best way to think about it is if you had a panic room set up in your house or a nuclear fallout shelter under your house, what would you put in it to survive? And remember, that's got to last you maybe 6 months, maybe 10 years. So, your tin food, toilet paper, toothbrush, toothpaste. I tell you, one of the things I've forgotten is your glue for people's false teeth. Like, what's it called? Fixodent? Whatever the thing. The cleaning tablets for people with false teeth. You know, you've got a pensioner just come out of hospital 11 o'clock tonight. They haven't got anything in the house. So what the nurse does is they ring me and say, Ray, I've got an 84-year-old pensioner coming out of hospital at 9 o'clock. We're discharging her at 9 o'clock. She's got nothing in the house. What can you do? I says, right, give me the name, give me the address, let me know if there's anybody who has access to the house so I can get in. I says, I'll leave a tea, long life milk, coffee, sugar, tins of peas, carrots, potatoes, beans, baked beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, various tins of curry, vegetable curry, chicken curry, beef curry, vindaloo curry, madras curry, whatever else curry you got, stews, soups, rice, pasta, sugar, bread, dried milk powder. Obviously, it depends what I got in at the time. And I says, I'll have it waiting at the house. If I can't get into the house and there is nobody in the house, give me a secure location where I can leave it, like an empty wheelie bin, under a recycle bin, or whatever. But when the patient transport service or the ambulance actually takes her home, tell them that outside the back door, under the recycle bin, is a food parcel. So when they take the pensioner into the house, they can also take in the food parcel. They then put it away for her, because believe it or not, ambulance crews will actually do that sort of thing for pensioners as part of their care service. They will actually unload a package, put the milk in the fridge, put the coffee next to the kettle, sugar in the sugar pot, the tins in the kitchen cupboard thing. Oh, going back to kitchen cupboards, cereals, your cornflakes, your bran flakes, your muesli, your porridge oats, sponge mix, batter mix, pancake mix, all that sort of thing. 20 pence, 20 cents for the packet. That's all sort of things that can go in to a food parcel. As I said, anything that doesn't need to go in to a fridge or a refrigerator, or a fridge. You can tell I've been talking too long. Anything that goes into doesn't go into a fridge or freezer can be donated to a food bank. But like I said, the most important thing is rice, pasta, tinned vegetables, even fresh vegetables, your potatoes, your carrots, your swede, your parsnips, your eggplant, your aubergines, your peppers, your chilies, and other products, vegetables that I don't even know the name of, depending what country you're in. Things like bananas, no. Oranges, no. Because they're the sort of stuff that will go off quick. It's basically stuff that will last a long time. You have to talk to your local food bank. If they've got a refrigerator or a freezer, then you can give them thing. But I'm talking most generally, we're talking dry goods that don't need to go in the fridge or freezer. But of course, not forgetting toiletries, things for infants like baby formula. Sorry, baby formula, feeding bowls, Farley's rusks, other tin baby food, jars of sorry. God, I can't speak anymore. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop. I can't speak. It's my asthma. Oh God, I can't breathe, let alone speak. Give me a second. Your baby milk, your baby formulas, your baby food, jars of food. But as I say, basically anything that comes in the jar, anything that comes in the packet, any dry goods. Anyway, I think 75 minutes waffling about food and food banks is enough for now. Any questions, as I say, just comment below, like, subscribe, share, pin to your Pinterest, share your Facebook, your Twitter, your MySpace, your Instagram, your Fred blogs, whatever else. Recommend me. Say we talked to this. We saw this video. A crazy guy waffling on for almost 2 hours about food. And I'll post again tomorrow. Let's see if I can get 100 likes by the end of the weekend. As I say, any questions, just comment below. Anyway, I'm out of here because, like I said, I'm having problems talking now. I need a cup of coffee and I need to watch some YouTube. Anyway, have a good Thanksgiving. Have a good weekend. And I'll talk to you as soon as I can. I may not be on for a couple of weeks because I may lose my internet tomorrow. And I'm not sure I've got the funds available to top up my phone. So what I'll do is I'll try getting on one of the free Wi-Fi hotspots. I've already lost my cable. Not because I'm poor, because people just aren't paying. They aren't paying their bills. My sponsors and my customers aren't paying. So I gotta wait now until they pay me. And if they don't pay me by Christmas, I could be the one that's begging at a food bank because I got no food. It's too many scams around now. Too many businesses are going under. Too many businesses are going out of business, and too many people are losing everything they are because of bad people and jealous people. I know a lot of people got into this Bitcoin, and I know people that were scammed out of a few dollars, and I know a couple of lads that are owed $1 million each because they've never been paid. It's really bad, and it's really, really sad to see, because what these people don't realise is when they don't pay their bills, their suppliers can't pay their bills, which means they can't pay their staff, like I can't pay my staff. So then my staff can't pay their creditors. So then they lose their homes. They end up with food banks. And these people don't realise that. Like, there was a company last week in England just laid 54,000 people off. What they don't realise is that 54,000 people are now going to lose their jobs, their homes, because they lost their jobs. Their kids are going to lose their college placement, their university placements. Their kids are going to lose their school places because school fees can't be paid. It's really, really sad. It really is time for the world to start working together, or we're all going to be back in Robin Hood times where we're all living in the woods. And mind you, that's for another video. That are being built now, they are awesome. I think that's probably my mates texting me saying, Ray, have a break, have a coffee. Anyway, as I said, talk to you soon. Contact your local food banks. Give them. I think that is dried, non-perishable. Is that the word, perishable? Basically, as I say, anything that doesn't need to go into the refrigerator or a freezer, not fresh meat. Just a quick one before I finish. Watching the video, actually, a couple of YouTube videos, a couple of bloggers. We're in India. There's one mosque in feeds free of charge 15 1,000 people a day. Like a damn cattle market. People sit in lines, they're given a plate. It's like prison food. It's like Oliver Twist. They come along and they say, right, there's a spoon of rice, there's a spoon of dal, Bombay potatoes, a cup of milk, and it's just slopped off. Go along, wine after wine after wine after wine after wine after wine. Thousands of volunteers, and that was to see. Where the food comes from, I don't know. Where it comes from, I don't know. I don't know how they get, but it's all cooked fresh on the. They've got rows and rows of machines, naan bread, and the other flatbreads. And women sitting in the back room, just mixing. Then it goes into the machine. Then it's thrown out to the customers. Not exaggerating when I say that. There's no professional. It is like sloppy joes. They get the buckets, basically that's all it is. They give you a naan. They someone else comes behind them and they'll give you the rice, spoonful of rice, and it's just thrown on the plate because, like I said, they feed 4,000 people every day. Anyhow, it is unbelievable. That's really, really sad to see. One of the richest countries in the world, India, with a population of 1.2 million people, 54,000 people a day. This is just one. I believe it's in Mumbai, but quote me on that. It could be Delhi, but it's in Mumbai. Is the old Bombay. It was named to Mumbai. Mumbai, where the hotel was attacked by gunmen. Anyway, I'm out of here. Bye.